Hello, creative friends. This is Joy. So, I am doing an art journal page in my Dinah Wakely Media Journal, and I'm using the Dinah Wakely scribble sticks. So, I decided that I wanted to start at the bottom with a dark blue and work my way up to a lighter blue, and then a dark green, a light green, and then a yellow. I just want to do kind of a gradient from the bottom to the top with these scribble sticks, just playing around with this page. I ended up naming this page Overcoming Obstacles because this page proved to be one challenge and obstacle after another to complete it, but also, it has to do with all the obstacles that we face in life as well. And I found a couple of really good quotes at the end to put on the page to represent all of that. So here I'm just activating the scribble sticks with some water, and again just trying to get a gradient going from the bottom up and activating the scribble sticks. I could have gone over this a second time and got it a little bit darker, but I kind of just wanted to get some color on the page, and then I decided to dry it. So once I dried it, I wanted to put some pattern on this page using this stencil, and I thought I would be able to do it with my ink pads going from, blue to green to yellow, but it wasn't really working out like I had hoped. And so I kind of decided to try something else. And so I thought, well, let me try watercolors. Maybe I can, use the watercolors to get the, pattern on here like I would want or like to have it on here. And so I sprayed my watercolors with some water, and then I just took the brush that I used to activate the scribble sticks and used that to add some color through the stencil onto this page. And I really liked the way that that was working. And, I was kind of like trying to make sure that I didn't get it too wet, because I knew that if I got it too wet, it was going to seep underneath the stencil and make a big mess, as you see right there. Which, of course, yeah, I ended up doing it too wet and made a mess. So I was like, oh well, you know, it is what it is. Move forward and just continue on. Maybe in the end, it won't be as so noticeable, and it'll be covered up anyway. So I continued on with the stencil, working my way up from blue to green to yellow, using the watercolor as you see here. And yeah, I mean, I could have used something else to put the color on here. I didn't want to use acrylic paint. I guess I could have done that, which is what I usually do. But I was really wanting to use something else other than acrylic paints. So anyway, this worked out pretty good. And in the end, when I was going through my stash of quotes trying to decide what quote to put on this page, I ended up with three different quotes that I really liked. And so I ended up, instead of trying to decide between the three, just going ahead and putting all three of them on the page. So I really liked the way the page turned out in the end. I mean, thought it turned out pretty good. And that first stencil I was using is a Dinah Wakely stencil, and this one here is a dialogue border stencil that I decided to use with some red paint. And again, I did end up smudging it a little bit at the top, but I figure, well, it is what it is, and whatever. You can see at the top where it's smudged and got underneath the stencil a little too much. I had it a little too wet. So I ended up putting the border on there using that one border stencil. And then I came back with the black scribble sticks to outline all of these. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just using the black scribble stick to outline these blocks. I don't know what they call them, blocks of color that I did in the red to help them, I guess, I don't know, stand out more, be more defined. I don't know. I just felt like, that's what I wanted to do. So that's what I did. And so then after I did that, I have this image that I got from some dialogue collage collection that I have. And so I'm using my Arteza watercolor brush pens to quickly add color to this image. And I decided, since I have the color on the page, I would start at the top and go from yellow to green to blue. And so I'm adding a little bit of red here, as you can see. And then I decide to do what's on her head in yellow. And then there's a scarf around her neck I decided to do in green. And then the bottom part I decided to do in blue. And then I came back, you'll see here in a minute, with yellow. And I added some yellow to her neck. And then there's some, I don't know what those are, if it's buttons or what it is on the bottom part and on the tags. But on the image, on the hat, it says under house arrest, and on those two tags, it says dare and then escape. So it seemed like that this person was bound up somehow. And so I thought, that this, could be about challenges or overcoming obstacles. I thought that, that would be something good, especially since this page was, giving me, so many challenges. And so I decided that the black around these red blocks weren't dark enough. So I got a China marker and went around them again. So that's what I'm doing here with the China marker, just going around them to make it darker, around the blocks of color. And, you could see that you can't hardly tell at the top now that it's smudged underneath or whatever ran underneath the stencil and smudged. And so then the 3 quotes that I got and decided to add to the page is these 3 here. And I wanted to make this top one yellow with some yellow watercolor. And then the middle one is green, as you can see, and the bottom one is blue and red. So the top one says, some of the best lessons are learned from past mistakes. The error of the past is the wisdom of the future, which I really like that. And then once I colored that yellow with the yellow watercolor, I ended up drying that. And once it was dried, then I got my glue stick, and this is a permanent glue stick, to stick this down onto my page along with the other 2 quotes in the image. So the green quote says, our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. And then the last one says, a challenge only becomes an obstacle when you bow to it. So I really liked those quotes and thought that they were appropriate for this page. So after I got done sticking down my image and my quotes onto this page, I just felt like that those red blocks of color on the right needed something, something else, some kind of pattern, what have you. And what's on her head looks like a brick wall. So you'll see here in a minute, I decided to take a black pen and trace around all the 3 quotes. Since I have the black around the red blocks of color, I thought that I would trace around the quotes with the black pen. And then you'll see here when I'm done tracing around these, I decide to take the black pen and make these red blocks kind of like look like a brick walls. And so yeah, I was thinking, of what kind of pattern I could put on them, and I'm like, they kind of look like bricks, and the thing on her head kind of looked like a brick wall, and I thought, yeah, I kind of like that idea. So I went with that. I decided to do that on these images. So I just went through all of these and decided to add that same pattern to each of them. And once I was done adding that pattern to them, I couldn't really think of anything else to do to the page, so I was happy with the way that the page looked. So if you like this video, you can give me a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel to see more, or you can comment. I'd love to hear from you guys and hear what you think. I know this isn't one of my better pages, but I had fun making it, and I think it turned out okay. So thank you guys for stopping by and watching, and we'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. Bye bye.